Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and I just got back from the new film Dark Shadows. It is based on the soap opera TV show from the late 60s and early 70s, Barnabas Collins. Back in the 1700s, him and his family came from Liverpool, England, to build their fishing industry in America, which they do successfully enough to have the town named after them, and it's called Collinsport, until this, I guess, kind of made for them or something, takes a liking to Barnabas Collins. His heart is for another, and she casts a spell on him and makes his love jump off a cliff and turns him into a vampire and kills his family and then puts him in a coffin for like 200 years. Then he emerges in 1972 and comes back and helps bring back his family, the Collins, who are still there and living in this amazing house that his father had built when they were on top of the world and running the town. And he's going to bring them back to good fortunes and prominence in the town. I used to really love Tim Burton. There was a time in the 90s where a lot of the times when I would go to rent a movie from a video center, it would be a Tim Burton film. And, you know, I liked Edward Scissorhands, Beetlejuice, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, the Frankenweenie short, Vincent, Batman, Batman Returns, Mars Attacks, Ed Wood, and even Sleepy Hollow. That Tim Burton, to me, is gone. He's completely over. As soon as he started using terms like I reimagined Planet of the Apes and shit like that, he was over for me. And I've never really liked anything he's done in the 2000s or the 2010s or whatever. He doesn't take the time and the care that he used to. He used to be a very impressive director, you know. He used to always want to kind of wow you with an interesting set piece, but then have irreverent humor, and then have there was a lot of interesting things going on. The first part of this film really reminds me of kind of that irreverent sense of humor that he used to have. And Johnny Depp actually is very good at doing kind of physical humor. He doesn't really get to do it as much as I would like, but he's a very good actor, even though he most of the time is just a bloated, overgrown movie star who does bloated, crappy movies. I do think in the beginning they both really try to bring some life to this, you know, making it more of a comedy. This was, of course, a soap opera back in the day. I'm not familiar with this soap opera at all. My mom used to watch it when she was in high school. A show that has over 1,000 episodes. They actually, I think, did a pretty good job with the material. It didn't feel like they were pushing in way too much material into one movie. I actually thought they balanced it out pretty well. Johnny Lee Miller's character wasn't really properly developed, but for the most part, having one character out of all these other characters who wasn't completely well structured is pretty good in my opinion. The first act is very solid, and it has moments like Barnabas Collins when he gets out of the grave and he sees this big glowing McDonald's M and he thinks it's for Methuselah. That's really funny. However, there are certain points where I felt that his humor didn't really work as well. Like, thinking that Alice Cooper was a woman is the kind of humor some dad at the dinner table would have said in the 70s. And it's even less funny now than it was then, and I'm sure it was eye-rollingly funny then. This film was really into shoving it down your throat that this was in the early 70s. It was just too many pop songs, you know? There was no real score to this. I guess Danny Elfman was too busy to come up with the real score or something, so they were at a bit of a disadvantage. But I wish they had maybe had more of a score, played up kind of the supernatural element rather than have 70s rock. I actually did enjoy a lot of the 70s rock, and I went and I got a couple of Alice Cooper albums right after this because I thought, you know, I really got into the music, but I wasn't really helping the movie as much. It relies on it to tell the story. You know, he's not a strong filmmaker like he used to. I really doubt he could make a film like Ed Wood now that didn't have a big third act with tons of special effects and explosions and then a big face-off and an awesome fight. And it's like, it doesn't feel like this unique auteur that really Tim Burton used to be. Now he just feels like a lame studio director. It's just kind of like, what is separating him from somebody like Raja Gosnell now? Sure, he still kind of has that unique look, but he's not doing anything with it. This might have been one of my more favorites of his later works, but that's really not saying much. It's kind of a reluctant recommend, kind of, but not at all. So if you have seen Dark Shadows and you would like to talk about it, then comment below in the comments and subscribe if you would like to.